Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Monday, January 27th, 2014. Our first bit of news this morning is pertaining to a statement about Obama that Ted Cruz made as a Face the Nation program was being recorded, and this was cut out. It was meant to air on Face the Nation. And this criticism by Ted Cruz of abuse of power by the Obama administration was cut, and well worth hearing. I'm not a champion of the Republican Party or Republican senators, congressmen, but I mean, just looking at this man's face, I believe he's sincere. I believe he's even maybe a little bit afraid to say what he's saying, and I believe he's probably taking some risks. God bless him and other people who do take risks in order to say what needs to be said, and may the truth fully come out. Speaking of truth fully coming out, from David Icke, Swedish gangster who claimed he had photos of the king in compromising sexual situations is found dead with 4 bullet wounds to the head. Obviously not a suicide. And sounds like execution-style killing. So, you know, there are people who are trying to come forth and tell the truth about what has been going on. I'm guessing if it's for personal gain, or, you know, it was a response to somebody not paying their blackmail money, things probably will not go very well for the whistleblower. People coming forward in integrity and a desire for liberty and justice for all probably will have more success, although certainly it's still a great risk to try to go public with some of this kind of information. Switching to what is happening in the Ukraine, in Kiev, here is an article from the Strategic Culture Foundation. Protesters surround American embassy in Kiev, rally against U.S. meddling. So this is being portrayed here as something that we might be able to get behind. However, last week I had an article from David Icke in which he expressed ideas that this is perhaps pressure to start a civil war, which may not be such a good thing. Here's another, just for informational purposes, another bit of information. Price of Democracy. This is a YouTube video. More information on the Ukraine. However, and I have this covered up except for the title, because Fulford's blog this week doesn't even have a blurb, it just has the title. And I want to honor his wish that people pay to read the blog if they're interested. But I will say that he states pretty clearly here that he believes that it is the cabal who are causing turmoil in many places, including Ukraine, Turkey, Iraq, and trying to derail the peace process with Iran. And Fulford states that this is all part of an offensive to prevent the cabal from being overturned. It looks like things are really heating up in many respects. And just for Fulford's point of view, that's what he believes. He believes that what's happening in the Ukraine is fires that are being fanned by the cabal in order to keep us, I don't know, distracted, in order to prevent the truth from coming out, in order for the cabal to avoid being exposed. Just more smoke and mirrors. In a related thought, from Mercy Triumphs, an article by Fritz Springmeier, Discern How to Learn. And Fritz originally put this on his Facebook wall as a note, and I believe that he might have been responding to a couple of posts on his wall by people who I think are probably spreading disinfo. And just even in light of what Fulford wrote about the cabal stirring up what's happening in the Ukraine and other places in the world, I think that emotionally we don't want to throw our weight behind causes that aren't well-founded. I mean, even sometimes causes that are well-founded, the cabal manipulates the people involved in order to serve their own ends. And if we can recognize that and not really whatever emotion, however our consciousness impacts upon world events, if we can keep a cool spirit and not bless things that are being done by the cabal for evil. And reading this from Fritz might help. My favorite really is the last paragraph. Intellectual investigation is rewarding, and this post is written to encourage people to use solid info rather than running wild with speculation, lest one get misled by spirits of deception. There is such focused intention to deceive and mislead us with disinfo and even manipulate us, mind control us. So being awake and aware, and if you hear something that doesn't sound true or doesn't sound likely, maybe just trust that little voice in you that is a warning flasher that, hey, maybe it's not true. Try to vet things, and as Fritz wrote here, use solid info rather than running wild with speculation, because we really, it's crucial for us. There are enough real problems. We don't want to be worried about something that's not even a real problem, something that the cabal has drummed up in order to elicit an emotional response from us. And just remember, when you hear things, remember what a crisis it was supposed to be, that North Korea several months ago was going to bomb the West Coast any day now. Well, of course they didn't do it. And there are just a lot of threats out there, a lot of non-issues to keep us from seeing the real issues. And what are the real issues? Well, Fulford was saying wrote that there are a lot of arrests of the cabal, and the cabal is being caught. The evil is being exposed, and that is where we want our focus to be, and seeing where the evil is being exposed and pointing people in that direction so that they are able to be aware of it, so that the mask is removed from the cabal and everybody sees them for who they really are. Evil world manipulators who want to steal all the world's resources for themselves and kill us if possible. This is a Russian language article. Karen Hudis put a link to this on Facebook and explained that Edward Snowden is testifying in a European court today about NSA spying. Now, this is probably one of the significant issues on which we all might be focused, to benefit us all to focus on this. This is very significant. People in other countries are not happy about what the NSA has done. And if we swallow it and turn the other way to watch the Grammys or talk about Justin Bieber or prepare for the Super Bowl, there are other people in other parts of the world who have the sense to realize how this impacts upon them and to demand that something be done. And can we just add our voices to that as Americans and object openly to the NSA and what they have been doing? Edward Snowden, I believe, has risked his life to do that. And I'm glad that there's an avenue today where he's able to give testimony, and God bless him in that and help him to fully communicate what he knows in a way that can bring about positive change in the world and greater degree of liberty and justice. From Privacy Online News, why today's wiretapping is entirely unlike yesterday's. And just a little information about what's really going on, as if we didn't all already know. But I thought that might be helpful to some. From Tech Dirt is an article, Open Letter from Security Researchers Explains How NSA Has Weakened Our Communications Infrastructure. Among the many problems with President Obama's weak statement concerning NSA surveillance was the fact that he didn't even address the serious issue of the NSA undermining cryptography with backdoors. The White House's task force had included a recommendation to end this practice, and the president appeared to ignore it entirely. Now, a large group of U.S. computer security and cryptography researchers have sent a strongly worded open letter to the president condemning these efforts and his failure to stop the program. So here are some concerned Americans. We'll see how far they get, but if we all add our voices, that might help to tip the scales. And last week I mentioned the drought in California. It is pretty severe, and I've been wondering about it, whether it is geoengineered. It certainly does not seem natural, and I can understand what David Wilcock wrote about a refusal to acknowledge pain resulting by the people who live in a land resulting in drought. That does make sense to me. However, this also makes a great degree of sense. I think the truth is probably inside of both approaches to this. Geoengineering Watch, Engineered Drought Catastrophe, Target California. And as I mentioned last week, a tremendous amount of the nation's food is grown in California. And if there is drought in California, that is going to seriously impact upon food supplies. And here we have it. This is the map. And as you can see, the drought here is very severe. There is rain in the forecast for parts of California on Thursday. So if you are so moved, please do pray that California does receive some rain and perhaps we even see the end of the drought. From Scribd, this is an article about the cancer industry. The cancer industry knows the American people want a miracle pill that they can just pop into their mouth to knock out cancer. And, we're aware of many, many natural cures for cancer and natural healing approaches to cancer. But because we've been conditioned to believing that we can just take a pill instead of changing our lifestyle, the cancer industry continues to get rich off of human suffering. So perhaps this is another area where we can all apply our consciousness and help to wake people up, be the 99th monkey maybe, and just tell somebody about how the cancer industry is deceiving people and ripping people off and causing this disease to go on. When it's a lifestyle disease, lifestyle changes can cure it and prevent it. And there are many, many other answers besides a pill that, let's face it, will probably be very expensive and probably leave some damage in its wake if you consider all the other kinds of chemotherapy that are currently being practiced. Here from LaRouche Pack is a kind of just, I don't know, just for perspective. Is there a Dr. Strangelove roaming around the Obama administration? The questions surrounding the condition of the U.S. nuclear missile force should be taken doubly seriously, given the warnings that Lyndon LaRouche has been issuing regarding the immediate danger of a thermonuclear war. Questions have been swirling around the U.S. Air Force's legs of the nuclear triad since 2007, when a B-52 crew flew from North Dakota to Louisiana without being aware that they were carrying 6 nuclear-armed cruise missiles. And the article goes on to mention other times that missiles have been mishandled and moved without permission and secretly. And certainly we've all been aware of how many firings there have been in the military around people who are involved in this program. And this is a very serious matter. Something that, just one more thing to add to the list, to tell people about and to be aware of. From Electronic Frontier Foundation, hey ABC, commercial skipping wasn't copyright infringement 30 years ago, and it isn't now. And they have filed an amicus brief with Public Knowledge and the Organization for Transformative Works, and they are hoping to block some of this copyright Nazism. But of course, this is about ABC, which is television, and let's face it, how hard do we really want to fight for TV programs? Although I am, in principle, certainly in agreement with the EFF on that. Who do these things belong to? And many works of dramatic art, film art, really belong in, they're part of the human consciousness, and segmenting them off and denying access to them. If we allow that to happen now, in the future, there may be bits of human history that would be completely lost because someone claims copyright ownership and simply does not want to permit anybody to see it. However, for perspective from Natural News, television damages brain structure of children. So perhaps we don't, yes, it's absolutely crucial that copyright Nazis not hold human potential and human creativity in their vaults, but in considering the actual cultural value of television, we need to at least consider things like this article. Television damages brain structure of children. And particularly if you have children, you, I'm sure, are already aware of that, but again, something that you can share with people who are not awake, not aware, and perhaps jar their consciousness awake. And I saw this yesterday on Twitter. It captured my imagination just a little bit. Costco versus Walmart, and how Costco's high-wage strategy beats Walmart. And of course, Costco is a very large corporation, possibly with globalist ties, but I thought this was a good example of what I mentioned. Max Kaiser a few weeks ago on Alex Jones spoke about the difference between vicious capitalism and virtuous capitalism. And here, see, Costco, you can still get rich, even being nice to people. In fact, the point here is that Costco has more sales per square foot than Walmart, and they take much better care of their employees. So virtuous capitalism works. It's effective. And I just wanted to use that as a little positive example there. And here from the Vatican Project, just more for fun than anything else. I saw this over the weekend, and I thought some people might find it interesting, entertaining. Nephilim, true story of Satan, fallen angels, giants, aliens, hybrids, elongated skulls, and Nephilim. Now, I'm not certain that I agree with all of this article, and to be quite honest, my opinions on some of these things are still very much in flux. I have had to apologize to people for opinions that I argued in the past about some of these issues, specifically Nephilim and giants. But, as Fritz Springmeier wrote, again referencing his article, if there is proof, some of these skulls, they have actually found some of these elongated skulls, very large skeletons. It's difficult to deny when there is actual physical proof. So reconciling this to our faith and how we have perceived the world and God and history can be a challenge, but certainly one worth facing if we are indeed seeking the truth. And for our good news for the day from Natural News, looking a little bit toward Chinese New Year, 4 healthy reasons to be optimistic in 2014. And it's helpful to be optimistic. That's a good thing for your health. So here it is. General Mills stops peeing in our Cheerios. Okay, that's good. The FDA finally bans trans fats. Maine and Connecticut passed GMO labeling laws. And fluoride is on the run. So there we are. That's our good news for the day. And with that, thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.